Leaders are rejecting a call from Israel's prime minister for mass migration of Jews. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu urged Europe's Jews to move to Israel after a series of attacks. The latest, of course, was that deadly shooting at a synagogue in Copenhagen.
Jews have been murdered again on European soil only because they were Jews. This wave of attacks is expected to continue, including murderous anti-Semitic attacks. Of course, Jews deserve protection in every country. But we say to Jews, to our brothers and sisters, Israel is your home. We are preparing and calling for the absorption of mass immigration from Europe. And I would like to tell all European Jews, and all Jews wherever they are, Israel is the home of every Jew.
France's prime minister responded by saying the French government will do everything in their power to defend French Jews. Well, for more on Prime Minister Netanyahu's comments, let's go to David Harris in New York. He's the executive director of the American Jewish Committee and has worked around the globe promoting intergroup dialogue and understanding between religions. David, thanks for being on the program.
Thank you for having me.
So your reaction to what Prime Minister Netanyahu had to say?
I think firstly one has to understand he is the prime minister of the only Jewish majority state in the world. And what he's saying to Jews is if you feel you have no future, if you're afraid for the present, there is another country that will welcome you. And that stands in stark contrast to the Second World War when Europe's Jews were being attacked, but they had no place to go. So his message really is, if you want to move, there is a country that wants you and we will welcome you.
What do you make of the timing of his comments? French Prime Minister Manuel Valls suggested Prime Minister Netanyahu made those comments because he's in the midst of a general campaign, a political campaign.
I'm not sure I want to speculate on the motives for the Prime Minister's comments. But frankly, whether the Prime Minister of Israel calls for people to come to Israel or whether the Prime Minister of Denmark or of France tells Jews to stay, the decision is not going to be made by prime ministers. It's going to be made by individuals and families who are going to ask themselves, shall we stay? Shall we run the risks? Shall we stand and fight? Or shall we move to Israel and start a new life? So at the end of the day, prime ministers will say whatever they wish, but the decision is going to be made by individual Jews, whether in Belgium, France, or Denmark.
Denmark's chief rabbi expressed disappointment with Netanyahu's comments, saying terror should not be a reason to move to Israel. Former Israeli President Shimon Peres expressed similar sentiments, saying you should come to Israel because Israel must remain a land of hope and not a land of fear. Do you agree with those comments?
Well, I think the history of immigration to Israel suggests that it's both a land of hope and it's also refuge. Well over 1 million Jews from the former Soviet Union came to Israel because of fear of the Soviet Union. Similarly, those who left Ethiopia for fear of persecution. Others have come out of hope. So it's really a combination of the two. But the real question, I think, is not what Prime Minister Netanyahu said, but frankly, what will Europe do going forward to assure Jews, and in fact, to assure other Europeans that Europe is up to the battle that it's confronted with and can defeat the enemy, which Manuel Valls, the French Prime Minister, just called Islamofascism.
Are you confident European countries can protect their Jewish population?
I'm not sure, because since 2012, we've seen one murderous attack after another, now in Denmark, in Belgium, in France, and threats in other countries. But frankly, as far as I'm concerned, it's not just about protecting Jews. Europe has to protect itself and its core values. Jews are a part of it. If Jews end up leaving for whatever reason, that's one thing. But where is Europe going to go? So this is a battle not just about the Jewish community and its future, but about Europe and its future.
David Harris, sir, thank you for your time.